Due to the success that the new Superman movie directed by James Gunn brought, and also the ending of Peacemaker Season 2, I think everyone is thinking about when are they going to do a Justice Gang movie, or Justice League. I've also at the same time been reading a ton of comics, and I think I've come across one that I think is truly one of my favorite comics ever. DC The New Frontier. It's one of those new compact books now that are like those famous stories, but now made cheaper and easier to access. And I read the story, and I loved everything about it. I love what they do with the Justice League, I love what they do with the heroes, and I also love the art style. And also, I'm saying it's one of my favorite because I haven't read a ton of comic books. Like, I've read a good amount, but I haven't read them all and all the famous ones. And a lot of the time, I would just watch videos about comic books, like from Comic Storian, Alex Lennon, and Mullen Man Comics, and other channels that explain comic books. So, shout out to those guys. If you guys have any recommendations of what I should read, then come leave it in the comments below. But yeah, I really like the comic book and the story it tells, and I think it actually fits very well with James Gunn's style of making movies. So I think it would work very well. So in this video, I'm talking about why I think it works so well and what certain scenes in the comic book be done very well and how it could connect to the universe and make the DC universe include everything in a nice little bow. Now, I want to say a couple things. I know at the end of Peacemaker Season 2, a lot of people are kind of low on James Gunn. A lot of people didn't like it, and I understand that. I myself didn't like it. I think there's a lot of things wrong with it, and I think it's one of his lowest rated things he's ever done. But I do like how he finished and closed loose ends that existed and just tied everything up together. Because what a lot of shows do is that sometimes they add more things on their plate and they can't finish it all. It's left as a mess, and then you're just wondering about all these different plot holes and things. But I like how he closed it up. But I just wish he didn't hype it up as much to be like DC's Endgame, and it just wasn't that. But I will always have faith in James Gunn, I think. I like what he does, and I also kind of agree that he should probably take a break from writing because people are saying his like stuff's getting worse. He's probably writing so much, and I agree for that. But at the end of the day, the gun doesn't jam. As of now, as I'm recording this on the 20th of October, the gun doesn't jam. Another thing, I had thought of this video idea a couple months ago when I initially finished reading The New Frontier, and I didn't do any research about if they're actually making a movie about this, but I read somewhere that James Gunn will take inspiration from the DC New Frontier. So I want to get that out the way before I started doing the video. But yeah, I'll be talking about more than just why he should do it, and I'll be talking more about the comic book itself. And just one last time, if you guys like this type of content and want to see more of it, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and even leave a comment down below what other comics I should read, or maybe comments I should talk about, because I love comic books. But yeah, nonetheless, let's get into the video. So, before we begin telling the whole story, I want to give you a context of the time period it takes place in. So, one of I think this comic's goals is to connect the Golden Age heroes and the Silver Age heroes. The Golden Age heroes in this sense being heroes like Alan Scott, Wildcat, and Jay Garritt, the Flash. And the Silver Age heroes would be Batman, Superman, and like Wonder Woman. And so it tries to connect that gap between the eras. And so it's said that the Golden Age heroes were a part of the war effort during World War II, part of the propaganda as well. All these heroes were dismantled, and then came the newer age heroes who were inspired by the Golden Age. Now, obviously, in a James Gunn movie, it can't take place during World War II, and it can't take place during like Cold War, post-Korean War era. But I think it's as simple as just replacing the conflicts, as in you can even do a Watchmen style. Make the Golden Age Vietnam, and then you could do the Silver Age now, being like a more modern time in a modern conflict. And plus, even in the James Gunn universe, this is already established. Not something so directly that they're so connected, but like there's even that banner with the Golden Age heroes in the Superman movie. So it kind of works. But I really like what this story does with the characters. It's basically like a big origin story for a lot of characters, and it leads up to the formation of the Justice League towards the end. And I also like those interactions between this Golden Age and Silver Age heroes. Like during the story, there's just like a normal boxing match between Ted Grant, being Wildcat, and some other fighter. And Ted Grant's on the ropes since he's older and this younger fighter's beating him. But then he comes out victorious and on top, and it's honestly a great scene in the comic. And then there's like a party after where we see a lot of people that are famous. Bruce Wayne, Selena Kyle's there with Wildcat. Iris West is there as well, even Hal Jordan and some of his flight buddies. But then Captain Cold breaks in, and then the Flash, getting a call from Iris West, comes to his rescue. Another thing I like about the story, Barry Allen and Iris West is already married, and there's not like build up of that romance, but it doesn't take away any of the romance, because their love for each other is even like a foundation for the Flash. It's kind of like his North Star that points him in the point of why he's doing what he's doing and helping people. It's really cute, and they really have a lot of moments where it seems like the Flash is powered by his love with Iris. Basically, the Flash comes in, saves the day. Pretty awesome. Like, I can even imagine Gunn doing it like that Quicksilver scene in those X-Men movies that people loved, and then he could do it something similar in this too, because it's like a cool high fashion party. At the beginning of the comic, there's a story that I could just see very James Gunny. Basically, at the beginning, these 4 soldiers are sent to go find Rick Flag Sr., who is lost on this mysterious island. 4 soldiers go, they find Rick Flag, 3 of them die, and they send Rick Flag home, but one of them stays so he could avenge his brothers. The thing that's killing these guys are dinosaurs. This island's filled with dinosaurs. Very weird, because we're not that far back in time. And I remember when I was reading this part, I was on a plane, and I had Nude by Radiohead playing, which is probably what's playing now, and he like jumps into the mouth of the T-Rex and blows off his head. It was awesome. I could see James Gunn doing that with some smaller characters and making a plot point that's going to become a bigger plot point throughout the whole movie. Another one where David Cornsweet's Superman involved into the story is basically in the comic book, Superman is serving the US military and basically trying to help the war effort, the propaganda, and all that during the Cold War. And so he's sent to go find Wonder Woman, who is lost somewhere in the jungles of Asia, I'm pretty sure. Now, I don't think Superman is a character that should help the US government. I think he's just someone who cares about doing the right thing no matter what it stops. And that's shown in the Superman movie. So I think a way they could do it if they did a movie about this comic book is that Superman is trying to help out the government to have better relations with them. Since, you know, he lives in the US, the people he loves lives in the US, and, you know, it'll be more beneficial for him if he could help them out. So I think it could fit. In the comic book, Superman meets Wonder Woman. She's with a group of women prisoners who were captured by some men and tortured, and then Wonder Woman releases the women, gives them weapons, and let them decide the fate. The fate ultimately being they kill all the soldiers. Superman is like, no, you can't do that. And then Wonder Woman gets all on his face like, or what? What are you gonna do about it? It's like Green Lantern in the Superman movie. And I also like this characterization of Wonder Woman, because I like when Wonder Woman does things for the need of doing good. I hate when she's written like a patriot and someone who loves the United States, because she has no reason to love the United States. She wasn't raised in the States. She wasn't born in the States. So I like when she just does good anywhere. Doesn't matter for who. In the comic wise of this, it's like the beginning of Superman trying to form the thoughts of how he wants to portray himself to the people and how he should portray himself and like how he should take a more leadership heavy role in this world. If James Gunn does it, that could be a starting point for that Superman, where instead of just being a bystander, he starts thinking about how he could take a lead with the Justice Gang, how he could start leading the people. In the comic as well, I want to say it follows one character. It more so follows a bunch of other characters and a bunch of different stories, and it jumps around. I will unfortunately not be able to cover all that, but I would say go watch a video, or more importantly, go read a book about all the amazing stories that are told in here, because I won't be able to talk about it. Like there's the stories of John Henry, the original Suicide Squad, and many more just like it that I won't cover. It's all here. There's some that I want to talk about like directly. For me, I feel like Hal Jordan and his becoming of Green Lantern is one of the main points in the story. And also, my favorite part is Martian Manhunter and him adapting to Earth society and becoming the Martian Manhunter. First, I want to go over Hal Jordan. Now, before I start saying anything, I know in the James Gunn universe, the Green Lantern show is going to come out. I don't know what it's going to be about, but I'm pretty sure Jon Stewart's going to be the main character, and I think Hal Jordan's going to be in it. They could replace this whole story with whatever it would be for Jon Stewart. I don't know a lot about Jon Stewart, but I really like what they do with Hal Jordan here. It begins with his origin story of being a little kid and being so infatuated with his father, who was a legendary pilot, and everyone talks about him like this legendary pilot. All of Hal Jordan's dreams is to be in the stars. Now, he serves in the Korean War, and he makes it his mission to be like Desmond Doss. Well, doesn't say that, but he's basically Desmond Doss. He doesn't want to kill anyone, but he wants to help out his nation. But unfortunately, at a crash landing, he is forced to kill a soldier, and he's ridden with the guilt. And now, being so strucken with the guilt, him and his friend Kyle Morgan, or known as Ace, just kind of go through the world together after the war, trying to adapt to it. Hal Jordan's given the opportunity to go work at Ferris Aircraft. This leads to him meeting Carol Ferris, who I'm pretty sure is running the company, and they have a really nice and beautiful relationship. Not like amazing, but it's super cute, you know, their whole relationship. And then Hal Jordan's treated as a test dummy, basically, getting put through a ton of experiments to test their new weapons, because Ferris's aircraft is working with the government as well. And then eventually, after a ton of stuff, Hal Jordan finds Abin Sur, just like his normal origin story. Abin Sur gives him the ring, and how he's the man who is so brave and everything. And so Hal Jordan tests out the Green Lantern ring, and as he's so amazed by the power, he's also a little scared and doesn't understand it, so he puts it away for a bit. Now, Martian Manhunter. It is the normal story of Martian Manhunter. He gets teleported down to Earth somehow by this human scientist in a place where telescopes are. Sorry, I don't remember the name. This causes the man to have a heart attack. Martian Manhunter feels really bad, just escapes from the police, because the police are going to find out about this dead body. And so what he does is he takes the persona of a person, and he calls himself John Jones, which is close to what his Martian name is. John Jones. So he starts living in his apartment in Gotham City. Now this could be James Gunn's first introduction of Gotham City to, you know, his movie. I know it's going to probably take place after Clayface, but let's just say for the context this could be how he shows more of it, how living in the city's like. But basically in the comic, what they do is that he sits down and through radio and the TV, he learns all he needs to know about human society. And it's a really cool scene, especially when he's just sitting on the couch and he's just kind of rotting there and he's like transforming into the people who he sees on TV. Like he even turns into Bugs Bunny. It's pretty funny. I could see Gunn doing this and like paying like $7 billion to get Bugs Bunny rights from Warner Brothers. But it's a very cool scene. And doing this, he learns about detectives and watches these crime shows. This makes him want to become a detective for the Gotham City Police Department. And that's what he is. He becomes that. But it's so funny since his only idea and interactions with people is usually through the TV, he acts exactly how the cop in the movies would be or in the show would be. And he's like corny and like cartoonish and he's really strange to his like partners and other policemen. They're like, why is this guy so strange? Why does he talk like he's from a movie? And I think that's a really cool detail that I think James Gunn could even implement. Just making a quirky little guy who thinks he's like a TV detective from like the 20s. But basically, while John Jones and his partner are on a patrol, they are looking for this missing child. It leads them to this church. They break into the church and they see Batman fighting a bunch of cultists, which would be the first introduction, I think, of Batman. That would be cool if he's not going to be in Clayface. And I really like his design here. I like how his suit looks. It looks funny. But basically, after they defeat the cultist, Batman takes off the tape of the kidnapped child that's inside this church. But he scares the child, which scares Batman. And Batman like sneaks back and he leaves embarrassed and feels bad. Because obviously that's a core part of Batman's character, that he wants to help comfort children. And the reason why he does this is that no kid ends up like how he did with his parents dying. So I really like this little moment. But then we figure out a larger arcing point of the whole story. That there's this guy, basically there's a prophecy of something coming to end the world called like the Center or something. That I'm sure that's not how you say it, but and then that's the main villain of our story, this impending doom that everyone in the world fears. And this leads a really cool relationship with John Jones when the Martian's human and a detective and he's trying to figure out this case and solve these murders. And Batman is there too, and he's helping out Batman. They're helping each other, giving each other clues. It's pretty cool. It's a really cool start to relationship where Batman starts to piece together that maybe this John Jones guy, it's too weird to be a human. Maybe he's like a alien that's green. I don't know, just throwing something out there. And those moments are very key parts of these stories. There's also a really cute moment where Batman and Superman meet up, and Batman's with a younger Dick Grayson who's Robin, who's very excited to meet Superman, and they have like a really cute conversation. That's another really cool part of this story, and that's a ton of those. And I will say again, I'm gonna be skipping over a lot of this and a lot of key story points because I don't think I could cover it all. And so definitely go watch something about it or go read it. Hopefully me talking about this is able to paint a picture for you guys of how well I think this would work in like a James Gunn movie. It's all like these separate wacky zany characters all coming together with their stories being explained and like a larger universe being shown entirely. There's even other conflicts in the story, like the government wants to put restrictions on the heroes and vigilantes in general. So they're out there and hunting down these metahumans. They even try to get the Flash at one point, but he escapes because he's the Flash. Then he even goes on TV saying like, oh man, I was just trying to help you guys, so screw you. And then of course they are hearing about an alien man, a green little Martian walking around the earth. And Faraday, basically this government boogeyman, is tasked with finding him and capturing the vigilantes. So at one point the Suicide Squad or one of the groups wants to make a rocket to go into Mars. And this is especially during a time when like the paranoia of the people that this thing is making everyone crazy. So after John Jones sees how the human race is and how humanity is, he tries to leave and go back to his home on Mars. But here, Faraday stops him, captures him, and when you think they're gonna like experiment him or anything, Faraday actually has a really good conversation and a friendship built with Martian Manhunter, where Faraday talks about how he was made to be this weapon and all he's known is like killing people and all that. And he has like lived an awful life. He's done awful things. And it's kind of funny because Martian Manhunter humanizes this guy, and them being to talk about each other kind of makes them both more human and more caring, and they understand people better even through their differences. And it's an awesome relationship in the comic, which I think it would be a very key point to the whole movie. And now this leads us to our finale of figuring out what's that thing that's causing this paranoia and this weird noise in Martian Manhunter's head. Basically, that island at the beginning of the thing where I told you where the men tried to go save Rick Flag Sr. flies and shoots lasers, and is a symbolism that humans aren't worth to live here. So they send dinosaur attacks to the coastal cities. This is where people figured out that this thing is going to come to kill everyone, and they can't stop it. So after everyone gets together, the government, the humans, and the metahumans come to try to stop it. There's an attack that like kills a lot of them and like just takes down a bunch of people. So they're all left distraught. They're all down. They think they can't defeat this thing and the end's coming. But Superman comes out. The government's arguing with the superheroes. He comes out and he gives an amazing speech that rallies everyone together and brings them all together so that they could all face this thing and lead the people into a better tomorrow. And it's an awesome speech, and I think it could be really done well by David Cornsweet as he comes out and takes that leadership role as the leader of a Justice League or whatever it's gonna be. And basically they launch an attack against the center, which is flying island with dinosaurs. But basically when Superman goes up there, just like the pure telekinetic abilities of the center like takes him down, and he's like seemingly dead. He like falls into the water. But Ray Palmer and other scientists come up with an idea of basically shrinking the thing from the inside and killing it. But to do this, they need to fly inside of it. They like plan a basically the rebels blowing up the Death Star type of plan. 3 jets, Hal Jordan, Ace, and the other guy all fly in to drop this device into the center, killing it. So that's what they do. But honestly, the visuals inside the thing is cool, especially on how it looks in the comic book. I would say it's almost reminiscent to even that scene in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 when they're going through like 700 dimensions or whatever. But basically, they're all seeing different things and being like hypnotized. They even talk about it in a scene where one guy's seeing a peak of a mountain, Hal is seeing the stars, and they're all being drawn into that one thing to get killed. Basically, when right at the end of being murdered and dying, Hal Jordan activates his Green Lantern ring and saves everyone inside, and they're also able to destroy the center. But as they come out victorious and everyone's happy, they think Superman's dead. Then, after all meeting up, a guy from the sea drops off Superman, and he's like, "Were you looking for this?" Sorry. But then Superman's saved, and everyone's super happy. Then the story ends with a beautiful speech by JFK and showing the illusions of the future of the other heroes that are going to come up from this, and the people and the happier tomorrow they could all lead by becoming a team and everyone coming together. And there's like a large amount of symbolism that the center is just symbolic of the 1950s and the Cold War and the paranoia and the fear that people are facing, which could be an awesome message to share now, since during now or even at times where people are scared or nervous about what's going to happen tomorrow. So I think it's a good story, and I think it would be a really good James Gunn movie. And then even with the inclusions I didn't bring up, of like now the Justice Gang is established in the DC universe, maybe they could help out, and they help out the other people, like Mr. Terrific, Hawkgirl, and Guy Gardner can all be in this as well, and maybe Guy Gardner teaches Hal Jordan something about the ring, and then maybe even Supergirl and Lex, because this will probably take place after both of those movies, I mean, in my head timeline, and they could even help in the matter since everyone has to help. I think it'd be a really good mark of the first Justice League while also expanding the world. But yeah, I love this story, I love the comic, and I think it would be amazing as a movie. While I'm editing this, I think this video is going to be a tad bit longer than is normal, but if you stick through all the way to the end, I want to say thank you very much for sticking all the way to the end. I really like comic books, and I like talking about them and also imagining them as movies, so if you like this type of content, please let me know by leaving a like or saying something. And I would appreciate actually any recommendations for reading comic books, because I'm reading a ton right now. Like I'm reading the new compact version of The Long Halloween, and I got Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man run here, and I need to catch up and finish reading them. So, and I definitely missed out on some points in the DC The New Frontier. It's an amazing book. Go read it. There's a ton of stuff I didn't say, and I was trying not to spoil a lot of it, but please go give it a read. But yeah, that'll be it from me today. So, thanks for watching.